Man, why is everybody talking about open world burnout all of a sudden? Like that's like the main topic now, open world burnout. Like just a few hours ago, I dropped a short on my channel of me talking about open world slop. And a few weeks ago, I dropped a video of me quitting Arc Knights. So if you guys don't know, I did drop Arc Knights Infield. But open world burnout was one of the reasons why I dropped the game. And even though Arc Knights Infield is not 100% open world, it's still open world in a way. It's like semi open world. But yeah, it seems like that's like the main topic now. Like everyone is just expressing how exhausted they are when it comes to open world gacha games. So we have a video here made by Gacha Smaku, and let's see what he has to say, man. Let's see what he has to say on this topic. I'm curious to see, you know, his stance on open world gacha games. This video is 36 minutes long, bro. Holy moly. And we have to watch the Booba live stream. Son. Damn, I'm cooked. All right. We're gonna have to put this in 1.25 times speed, bro. Yeah, let's do that. All right, y'all.
Why do
Let's
you
check
have
this
a
out.
hard time enjoying open world gacha games? Of course, this isn't everybody. I'm only talking to people who probably feel this way, who probably think, oh, another open world gacha game. Nah, I'm good. I've been there and I'm tired of it. I can't enjoy them. I want to answer that question for you guys. Some of you might not know why you don't enjoy them. And I do even have solutions, but I'm afraid these solutions
I already have the answer. The reason why we're getting burnt out when it comes to open world gacha games is because they all feel the same. They're all doing the same exact thing. You know, you go through the story. All right, once you go through the story, you go to like a domain to go get some EXP to go level up your characters. Once you level up your characters, you got in-game content. And in-game content, there's a timer and a boss. Right? You got to beat that boss at like a specific time, and if you don't, can't get the rewards. Same cycle again. Go on to a different open world game. You do the same exact thing. Run around, collect materials, right? Pick up some materials, level up your characters, go to end game, do the same thing, repeat the same process over and over and over and over again. That's the reason why I feel like a lot of people have a open world burnout, because it's just the same process over and over again, but there's just so many games that are doing it. So yeah.
may never be implemented due to the very essence of what a gacha game is, how it functions, and what it's designed to do. I have a wonderful video by my brother Genizat that I want to react to, and I think we'll both be able to collectively tackle precisely
Bro,
why
this is a react bro, this is a react to video,
you
man.
guys might not enjoy gacha games in an open world setting. This video is called Is Open World Gacha Fatigue Real by Genizat. I'm curious to see what his points are going to be as opposed to my own points.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what your points are gonna be, Gotcha Spec, opposed to what his points are gonna be, and then what Jenna's points are gonna be, opposed to what my points are gonna be.
To what leads to that particular fatigue. Without further ado, let's get into it.
There are currently 6 gacha games released that are 3D open world, with another 10 on the way. That's a total of 16 3D open world gacha games.
16? I did not know that was. Wow, that's actually a lot. We got NTE, Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, Arc Knights Infield, right? Honkai Star Rail. And I'm not saying those games are like actual like 100% open world. I'm including semi-open world and open world. So just all of them. Like if you're required to run around, you know, and explore, I consider that as open world in a way. So HSR, Seven Deadly Sins Origins, man, that game was dog shit, man. Seven Deadly Sins Origin was dog shit. That game fell off. And then we have like games coming soon, which is like Ananta, Silver Palace, and etc. I did not know we had 16, bro. That's a lot.
Be real, I actually feel exposed. I should probably remove the gotcha in my name because I didn't know there were 16 games coming out. Dear God.
And
I just said the same fucking. That's what I'm saying. Like, I did not know that.
will the madness end? We got Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, Tower Fantasy, Arc Knights Enfield, Seven Deadly Sins Origin, Neverness to Everness, Azure Premilia, Rewinding Cadence, Honkai Nexus Anima, Unending Dawn, Silver Palace, Wang Yue, Barca Pure, Project.
Okay, hold on. I knew every single game except.
And I'm quitting all those games. I'm bro, that's a lot. And I feel like that's the problem, bro. It's too saturated, man. Like, and this is what I was talking about in my short. You guys should go check out my short because I posted it just a few hours ago. But I said like when it comes to like these companies, these gotcha companies, you don't have to make like when you if you're making a gotcha game, it doesn't have to be open world. Like it doesn't have to be that. Like there's so many types of games. You have games like you got first person shooter games, you got fighting games, you got games like Marvel Rivals where it's like you're doing PvP but you're in like a team. You know, Marvel Rivals, Overwatch. You got games like League of Legends. Like there's so many types of games out there, right? And that's why I will give Hoyoverse credit, because at least they're trying to like, make different types of games, even though, the company is fucking predatory as fuck. But at least Hoyo, they're trying to make different types of games. They're touching like multiple genres, in the gaming community slash gaming industry. Like they're touching multiple genres. It's just the open world category is just way too saturated in like the gotcha space, and they just have to tone it down a bit because people are just getting sick and tired of the same fucking shit every single time. Like every time they announce a new gotcha game, it's either open world, turn based, or instance based. It's like, oh brother, here we go again, man.
Unending Dawn. Wang Yue, is that what he said? I didn't know that one either.
2/3 Dragon Sword Awakening, and I'll add in Ananta
Like it feels like slop in a way. Like it literally feels like slop.
as a special exception, since people won't stop talking about it in regards to 3D open world gotcha games.
Okay, yeah, that is a lot of gotcha games. I will say the last one too is something I didn't
Palace,
know.
Wang Yue, farosyt Pure, Project 2/3 Dragon Sword Awakening.
Oh, Dragon Sword Awakening. That's right. So this game is no longer
Okay, I heard of that game before, Dragon Sword Awakening. Somebody mentioned that in my comments. I didn't play that game. I never touched it, but I might see what it's all about, bro, cuz I'm hearing a lot of good things about the game. Like I've only seen positive things about it, so I might check it out.
gotcha game. They removed it. There's an insane amount of drama surrounding that Korea game, but it's now just a game. I think it's $30 on Steam, and a lot of people are actually receiving it quite well. They're saying it's a mixture of Genshin Impact plus Monster Hunter plus like I think Grand Blue Fantasy. I think they even drew some correlations there. I'm not sure. I've been kind of curious. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious, but I do kind of want to check the game out because they removed the gotcha in it. That said, that's all.
Oh, they removed the gotcha? I did not know that. Okay, guys, I think we might actually check out Dragon Awakening. I think that's what it's called. I think we might check out that game.
A lot of different gotcha games dropping that are in the open world category. And why do they all feel kind of like samey, or you feel like you're not getting anything new out of these gotcha games? If you're this
It's not kind of gotcha smack. They all feel the same, bro. Like you look at their in-game content, it's the same formula, it's the same thing. Time based. Oh, if you're trying to get more pulls, then make sure you beat this boss at a specific time. HP inflation, all this shit, buffs that cater to specific units, especially new characters. They all do the same exact thing.
target audience, that's the conversation I want to talk about. I'm gonna let him cook a little bit
And
more.
I'll add in Ananta as a special exception since people won't stop talking about it in regards to 3D open world gotcha games. I probably even missed some, and who knows how many others haven't even been announced yet. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Since there's so many 3D open world gotcha games releasing, there's some question to ask. Is there open world gotcha fatigue? Which will be the first to die? And who
Yes, there is open world gotcha fatigue. There is. And let me know in the comments down below if you guys have open world gotcha fatigue. I definitely do.
is making these games?
100% there is absolutely open world gotcha fatigue. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I know a damn decent amount of individuals who are tired of playing open world gotcha games.
Let's address some of these questions in this video, but first, determine what the criteria for an open world 3D gotcha is. I'd say
Okay. Let me cook
the
a little
important
more.
aspects are
I'm going to say selling gotcha characters and gotcha weapons. Obviously, creating big, beautiful worlds that are empty as hell, albeit, but big, beautiful, vibrant open worlds for you to explore. And then the third option, I would say the third option for meeting the open world gotcha game criteria is main story progression. Yeah, a never-ending story.
1 has an open world where a large part of the gameplay is about exploration. 2 has a gotcha system related to pulling characters.
Okay, we're two for two.
And 3, you can jump. Why does
That's actually funny. I mean, yeah, I agree. Yeah, you can jump. Because when you look at HSR, you can't jump. When you look at Arknight's Infield, you can't jump. Wait. Can you? No, you can't. Wait. Dude, it's been a minute since I touched that damn game, bro. There's no way I'm about to search up can you jump. I don't think you can jump, guys. Don't crucify me in the comments, bro. I'm not a LARPer. Trust me, I'm not a LARPer. I wasn't pretending. But I don't think you can jump in Arknights. But yeah, if you can jump in like a game where you can explore, yeah, it's definitely a open world for sure.
What the fuck? That was a troll, bro.
jumping matter
I mean, to be fair, I don't know many open world games where you can't jump.
because an open world game with exploration doesn't really exist in this genre if you can't maneuver around with ease. Also, not being able to jump feels wrong. Ever
Yeah, bro, exposed Zilla Zone Zero right
sat
there.
in an MMO town and just jumped around while in a Discord call? Now this
I dare say that's why I stopped playing MMOs, because I would get in the Discord call with friends, and then we would talk for hours, and I realized I did nothing at all except jump.
Nigga, I think okay. When was the last MMO game I played? I think the last MMO game I played was Blue Protocol. That was the last one I played, and I did play with my friend. We did play it. I'm gonna be real with y'all because they had the freaking what was it like? You couldn't progress because I think it was time locked. I forgot what it was called, but there was like what was it called? I got a massive brain fart, bro. Yeah, I forgot, man. I forgot. But in Blue Protocol, like when you first got into the game, like when you first played it, like when the game first came out, and if you played it, you couldn't progress. Like you couldn't really progress at your own pace because you were locked from progressing. So like there were moments where like me and my friend when we were playing the game, we were just standing around just fucking talking. Literally.
That's a true story. Okay, I do want to take a quick break here, and I want to talk to you guys about why the open world gacha fatigue is in fact an issue for a lot of people.
Okay.
I got some notes here that I think are very important, and they're basically open world gacha game issues at large that exist obviously exclusively inside of gacha games. The first one, and it kind of goes into a bunch of subcategories, is going to be that there's no real exploration, and that's kind of
Yes. No real explore. Okay. No real exploration, and the replayability fucking sucks ass. The replayability is so dog shit because once you finish the story, what are you doing after that? You already explored, you already 100% cleared the area, right? What else are you doing? Dailies, and that's pretty much it. Doing your dailies and just waiting for the next character.
ridiculous. Why would I have an open world game with no real exploration? Well, the gacha system kind of clashes with this issue. Number one, there's no in-game gear to find as you explore. Why? Because stamina systems and instance area farms exist inside of these games, which go into dailies and weeklies. You log in, you spend your stamina, hopefully you got the good gear for the day, and if you didn't, you log off. And so putting gear for you to find in the actual exploration experience would go against the stamina system. It would go against the gacha structure. The second one is no hidden abilities or characters to unlock via exploration. They're monetizing it via the gacha system instead. A lot of the times in open world games, you might get a character that becomes unlockable and playable and joins your party, so on and so forth.
Now, I will say though, all right, yeah, open world burnout is real, open world fatigue is real, but when it comes to like casual players, um, I'm not gonna speak for all casual players, but I'm gonna just say casual players, they do like the fact that when it comes to like open world gacha games, they don't have to put too much time into the game. As long as they just log in, do their dailies, and then log off, like it feels as if they're progressing. Like they just consume all their stamina, and that takes like what up to like 5 to 6 minutes. They use all their stamina, they do their dailies, and then they're out. Right? To them, they're progressing because they're getting materials, right? They're getting artifacts so that they can put on their character and they can level up their character. When you look at games like Where Winds Meet, that game we have to put so much time into that game. So like Where Winds Meet, I wouldn't say it's like I wouldn't say it's casual friendly. And what I mean by that is you can't just go into that game and just, log in, consume your stamina, then log off and then expect like progression. Nah, you actually have to put time into that game. You have to actually beat boss. You have to do a lot of things. So I will say, on the casual side of things, yeah, it's cool for casual players. It's very simple for them. But if you're trying to like get into a game where you're trying to put time into it and you're like trying to have fun while you're progressing, you're trying to grind, open world gacha games are just not it, bro, unfortunately.
forth as you go around your merry little way. Well, that would put a big dent and butcher inside of the character gacha that they're trying to sell you and make a money off of, because their game is free to play, right? I'm just giving you the exact like why that doesn't exist in the explorative experience. There's no hidden abilities because the characters are being sold with you along with their abilities. Whereas in a lot of these games, you can unlock abilities as you go through the exploration experience. As you're unveiling lore, meeting new people, you're also going in these like dungeons and probably unlocking an ability. He can now cast fire. He can now cast thunder. He can now do a freaking swirl wind attack. You know what I mean? A shorter you can. None of that is going to be existing inside of a gacha game because that's a part of them selling you the character, right? And so now you're starting to see, as I list off these things, the issues and the over glaring problems as why it's hard for you.
And I think I talked about that as well. Like when you're playing like a non-gacha game, right, in this open world, um, you look at like the skill tree system, right? Like a lot of games they have like a skill tree, right? Non-gacha games. They have a skill tree, and you pretty much have access to like new skills. You get new animations, you get new effects, you get new stuff for free. You just have to play the game, progress through the game, and you're just leveling the character and you're just doing a lot of stuff with that character. You look at games like Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, right? No gotcha. Just play the game, progress, and you unlock a lot of stuff. But when it comes to gotcha games, right? When you look at their dupe system, the dupe system is essentially a skill tree because when you get dupes on that character, you unlock new skills, you unlock new effects, um you just unlock new things for that character. But the difference is that it's pretty much locked behind a paywall. You have to spend money in order for you to unlock those new skills for that character. So yeah. I'm pretty sure in Genshin, like when you reach like C6, you get like unique like a unique effect on the character, like a visual of I don't know. Like I think when you C6 Ayaka, her right hand is like flashing blue. That's what I found out when it comes to Genshin. Like when you see six a character, you get like unique effects. And I'm pretty sure in Mongol Star Dive, it's the same thing as well. Like if you get multiple dupes on a character, I think if you max out that character, there's like a unique effect that comes with that character. So yeah.
You to enjoy open world gacha games. It all has to do with gacha and making money. Unfortunately, that's the trade-off for them being free to play. Now, I don't think that's the only way. I just think that's what has worked and what has made the most money. Let's continue on though. No secret bosses to discover. Virtually no point, since all the gear and the weapons are put inside of a gacha system. Why would we put a secret boss in our map for you to fight? There's nothing you're going to get out of it. And even if they put a secret boss inside of the map, it's probably going to be brain dead and not move at all. No dungeons to conquer and explore. This doubles down.
And that's the thing too, all right? A lot of people tend to complain like, the bosses are too easy. They're just damage sponges. They just sit there and just take damage. They don't really do anything. Like there's no like you're not afraid to receive a lot of damage because they just don't do anything. And that's what it feels like whenever you're fighting a boss in these gacha games. But the thing is too, if the boss is really hard, then guess what? The devs are gonna the only solution is get this character, right? Get this featured 5-star character, and you're not gonna suffer when you fight this boss. I'm not saying that's the only solution, but that's what these gacha companies do. You see it in Genshin Impact, where like if there's like a mechanic, right? There's a mechanic, for example, the pillar boss. There's a boss that summons a huge fucking pillar. Only Natlin characters can climb that pillar, and if you don't have Natlin characters, you gotta do a bunch of bullshit. If you don't have Natlin characters, it's like whenever there's like a chance for the devs to implement actual like difficulty in these open world gacha games, they do it in like a predatory way where if you don't want to deal with this bullshit mechanic, well, we can get this character and you don't have to deal with that mechanic. Like you can't rely on skill, right? Because that it would be cool if you relying on skill and you having a strong character would essentially help you bypass whatever mechanic that is. But nah, you gotta summon for that character, you have to pull for that character, and you can bypass that mechanic. So that's the problem. It's like we want difficult bosses, but at the same time, the way that they implement these difficult bosses and the way that they implement these solutions is just comes down to money.
Now, right? There's no dungeon to conquer and explore because it's replaced with a stamina system and a small instance area. Once again, when I'm having fun with open world games that are not gacha games, I am one of the big motivating factors. I just think of like Clear Obscure Expedition 33, for example. I would go into these little instance dungeons because I knew I was going to get my ass whipped and I had to beat that boss. So there was a challenging aspect that was motivating, but I might also find some really strong gear or even change up the very nature of the build of the character that I'm utilizing. These are all components that would allow me to want to go inside of these places, to motivate me to explore and clear the whole map, because there could have been some cosmetics too. Speaking of which, there are no cosmetics to unlock as you explore in a lot of these open world gacha games because they're trying to sell you them in a shitty, overpriced shop.
Except for NTE, when you look at the new event in 1.2, if you actually progress through the new event, you can actually get the cosmetics through that event. But at the same time, that's an event. That's not really you like exploring and you finding a skin. So I get what he's saying there. But yeah, y'all let me know in the comments. Do you guys think NTE is the exception because you can get like a bunch of skins for free? I don't know, man. But I get what he's saying. Like when you explore in Wuwa, Genshin, Arknights, and etc., and like let's say you beat a very, very hard boss, there's no skin attached to you beating that boss. You don't get a skin at all. You don't get an insane weapon. It's just materials for you to level up your character. That's it. And when it's a weapon, it's a shitty 3-star weapon or 4-star weapon.
And the cosmetics are pretty damn mid. Once again, it points towards the shop, it points towards the gacha system. I do think they could put cosmetics around the map for you to explore via NPCs, side quests, and exploration quests, right? I do think they should do that, but it does cut into the gacha structure that makes them, maximize a profit. Now, open world enemy threats. This is a big one. Yeah, this is a huge pause inside of Genozad's reaction, but I wanted to get through these. In fact, we'll probably take a break after this one and get back to the react, because at this point, you're just watching the Gacha Smack video of me. Yeah, open world and
That's why I reacted to the video, man.
enemy threats. The brain dead bots that barely move all throughout the open world. If they made them challenging, you know who would be mad? Mobile players, because mobile players would be bitching about how they can't get through the game because the open world enemies are too challenging.
That's what I just said earlier. People are going to complain that open world enemies are too hard, and then they're gonna criticize the company, say, "Oh, you guys are being scummy. Like I can't progress, and the only way for me to progress is if I well." Like we see that a lot, right? If you can't progress, the only way you can progress is if you well. We see that a lot in gacha games, so that's why it's just, man, it's just tough, dude. It's just tough. And the devs, they put themselves in these situations. They do.
Another thing that goes inside of a gacha game trying to appease not only a PC market, but a mobile market, because they make a lot of money off mobile players. But there's no sense of danger when every single enemy in the world is a joke. In fact, you start to feel like you've conquered that area entirely. And once you feel that sensation of I've conquered this area, why the fuck would I want to explore it? Does that make sense? There's less reason to explore. And so I want to get back to the react. I got more things listed here, but I wanted to make sure we tackled these things as effectively as we possibly could, because my goal with this video and this react is to make people fundamentally aware of the glaring problems with these open world gacha games. Let's continue on.
Giant boom for open world gachas all began with the release of Genshin Impact, making billions of dollars. And since then, there's been a crazy upsurge of
Oh, I just realized how loud I had this video.
games with similar systems.
Sorry about that, guys.
Start noticing a lot of strangely similar UI elements in games, or denominations of currency being 160 per pole. The combat relying on 3 to 4 characters swapping between them and using a basic attack skill and ultimate.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started with this shit, bro. Like, this right over here, man. Whether you guys like it or not, when you look at the gameplay for a lot of these open world games, it's the same fucking thing. Spam left click for basic attack, click one button for skill, click one other button for ultimate, and then switch on over to the next character for like a unique, for a special, like special animation, and then boom. Repeat the cycle over and over again. Pretty much swap slop. That's what I call it. Swap slop gameplay. I'm tired of it, man. I am. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I was tired of it in Genshin. I'm also getting tired of it in Wuwa as well, because Wuwa it's literally the same shit where you're swapping between characters. And it's crucial in Wuwa because you have outro skills, right? Outro skills provide insane buffs to your allies. So, swap slot, bro. Man, that shit it's getting annoying for sure.
Jesus, bro. This is another one I got down.
Endgame, I'll have a multi-character swap combat with a a timer-based endgame with tanky enemies that pose no real danger.
Daring today, aren't we?
Think one of the first 2 areas be a Chinese-inspired anime fantasy world with characters whose names I can't pronounce without looking like a guaylo.
So like the thing is, one example that comes to mind that I feel like some guy in the comment section would try to make, well, do you play Souls games all the time? Well, Souls games are fundamentally and uniquely different from one another because the world in the exploration, which I just spent a great deal of time explaining to you, is uniquely different. You are, in essence, going around this map. There's no quest marks. So you genuinely have to explore. You don't know what kind of weapons are in the game. And the bosses and the enemies, which is the dance partner of a combat experience, are incredibly challenging. And they are very and extremely unique to the point where, yes, the Souls-like combat is pretty much jump attack, roll attack, and so on and so forth. But the bosses, the fights, the enemies are why Souls games are so incredibly compelling because you
And the music too. Music be going hard in Souls games.
remember all of those different favorite fights that you've had in these Souls games that you will only ever get out of that fight in particular. So you can't use that as the same example as, well, all gacha games have the same elemental systems. Why are you complaining when you like all Souls games? All gacha games have the
Yeah, I agree with that. Like when you look at Souls games, right? What people mainly talk about are the bosses. You guys remember in Elden Ring? Forgot that boss. Yeah, I remember that one boss where like when I think when his health bar was like halfway, he would like fly away, and then you think that you think that you actually beat the boss, right? Like a lot of people thought that they actually beat that boss, but then he came back down like a meteor and just boom killed you. Like I remember that boss. I know exactly what I'm talking about. It's stuff like that that makes people like Souls games, right? It's the bosses, the bosses. That's what makes them really fun. But when you look at gotcha games, ain't nobody talking about a damn Dvalin, bro. Did you guys remember? Let me switch my screen. Did you guys remember when Dvalin summoned those tornadoes? Ain't nobody talking about that. No one is talking about that, and that's the problem. Nobody is talking about that because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Dvalin and Genshin when he summoned those fucking the fucking tornadoes. So, and I can just revive my character if I fucking died. I can just revive them and just eat that shit. It's like when it comes to these bosses in the gacha game, like they're not memorable. They don't do anything insane. It's just they're just standing there. They just stand there and you're just hitting them. Constantly hitting them, running the same rotations, and making sure that you beat that boss before the timer runs out. Time runs out. That's what you're doing. There's just nothing unique and nothing special about that. Especially when I'm doing that in multiple open world games. Huh?
exact same system, bar for bar, one for one, and the enemies are all brain dead. The enemy experiences you barely even remember. I will say, Wuthering Waves will be the closest thing to giving you actual like unique experiences with their tactical hologram fights. At least those are
okay. Yeah, I agree. When it comes to tactical hologram, yeah, that shit, bro. What's her name? Dinya. Her tactical hologram is fucking annoying. Wait, I think Mia also has a tactical hologram too. Yeah, Mia, that shit's also annoying. That's what I will give Wuwa. At least for Wuwa, they have tactical hologram where the bosses are actually difficult. But there'll be some moments where them bosses are just straight bullshit, and they have attacks where you can't even see that shit because it blends in with the area. Like you can't really see what's going on. For example, Mia, like you can't even see her summon that wave. So yeah.
more compelling and unique experience in comparison to like the rest of the things I've experienced in the space. But the problem is, you can't keep doing the exact same combat system with a brain dead gotcha game enemy experience and expect people to not burn out. People are going to burn out. They're going to be numb to these experiences. I would say this is one of the problems NTE fucked up on, is giving you the exact same elemental swap experience, and it's debatably worse than the games you already play. To be completely fair, you guys know I like NTE, but its combat.
Yeah, I agree too. NTE's combat is really, it's really mid. I'm gonna be real with you guys. NTE's combat system is really mid, bro. The whole like Esper cycle thing, I'm not feeling it, bro. Still like the game though. All right, I still like it, but the gameplay is kind of booty cheek.
Experience is incredibly lackluster in mid because it's basically done 100% of the exact same thing that other games are already doing in the space versus creating a unique, fresh experience that these other games aren't doing. Holy shit, I have a lot to say about this topic.
We see these similar systems over and over, and you bet a majority of these new games are going to have these copy-pasted again and again. Now, this isn't to say games are just
It's
the same
slop.
because they share a few systems. On the contrary, many of these games are completely different. Azure Premilia, for instance, is a 3D open-world game with Pokemon monsters, while Wang Yue is a 3D open world with Pokemon monsters in a city. Or how about Neverness to Ever?
And they all don't have the things I
Where
listed.
you have a sprawling open world urban environment where you deal with SCP like a
I just feel like the only explanation for this, like the reason why they all do the same things, because they're just they can get away with it, you know? Like as long as they're printing a fuck ton of money, why should they be creative? Why should they think outside the box? Y'all get what I'm saying? Like they don't have to. If they can just half-ass their way through and just get a fuck ton of money for just doing the bare minimum, why not? You know, and that's the problem. It's like we complain about this, we complain about all these open world games copying off of each other, but we're still giving them money. We're still supporting the devs by giving them money. So ain't nothing gonna change, bro. It was the same shit with like Doing Not Abyss. You guys remember when like a lot of us we were like, oh, you know, if Doing Not Abyss, if this game succeeds, then that's going to show a lot of companies that you don't need gotchas to survive. Even without Doing Not Abyss, right? Even without that game existing, you don't need, right? You don't need gotcha in order for the game to survive. Like if that's the case, then games like Marvel Rivals, where you're playing with every character for free, like how come that game is doing perfectly fine and the game is literally surviving off of cosmetics alone? Like, come on, bro. But yeah, it's like if the devs are making a fuck ton of money for doing the bare minimum, they're not gonna stop. They're gonna keep going. And all these companies, right? They're gonna look at games like they're gonna look at companies like Hoyoverse, Kuro, and they'll be like, hey, if they're making a lot of money for literally copying off each other when it comes to their gameplay, when it comes to all these things, you know, exploration and all that, let's do the same shit as well. Right?
anomalies compared
To be fair, though, the Pokemon capture games do, at the very minimum, offer a new open world experience in comparison to like Wu Genshin Impact and them, because you are going to be like doing those Power World type of ordeals where you're using them to like farm cities, resources, and build them up and such. But typically in gacha games, it always ends up falling very shallow to playing the real deal, like an actual.
Yo, this makes me excited for Anemo, wherever that game is called. That new Pokemon like game that's coming soon. I can't wait to check out that game.
Power World or an actual Pokemon
to
game.
Varsapura, where you deal with SCP anomalies in an urban open world.
Yeah.
Let's not mention Ananta either. Okay.
Yeah, it's like there's almost a now copy pasta thing occurring between NTE, Ananta, and Varsapura, where they're starting to do the same elemental system, but naming it these incredibly complex fucking names, changing up a couple of things, but it's still functionally the same swap
Keep
system.
in mind, I'm not trying to say any games are copying each other, but rather that so many are being produced that many styles are starting to overlap even.
Me personally, I feel like they are copying off of each other. I really do. Not 100%. Of course, they're not going to copy each other 100%, right? But when it comes to like the main aspects of these games, which is exploration, got the gameplay, and of course the gotcha system, they're all like they're just all identical. They're all the same. You look at the gotcha system, like Wu's gotcha system is different from Genshin's, right? But there is still 50-50. When you have swap, right? Swapping between characters, you're doing that in Wuwa and you're also doing that in Genshin. You look at the exploration. Exploration is the same thing. Once you 100% clear that area, why the hell should I go back to that area and explore it ever again? I'm just not gonna explore it at all. It's like they all have like when it comes to like these main aspects, they're all the same. They're deep down, they're literally the same.
Past the game systems, and some gacha players legitimately cannot tell the difference between some of these. At a certain point, players might start getting bored of the similar concepts of switch between characters to fight. Pick up chess.
I mean, I'm one of them. I am completely tired of this swap system. There's no doubt about it. And I'm tired of it literally because I've played it in 10 different gacha games already.
Do mindless events with a plucky little mascot. Now, one thing I've heard many say is that means you're burned out, or there's open world gacha.
The reason why they do this, like they're abusing this swap system, is because it pretty much prints them more money when you think about it, right? You swapping between characters, you relying on an entire team. Guess what that does? You have to pull for characters, right? When you look at team comps, when you look at Wuwa, whether you guys like it or not, a lot of these team comps, you look at Yang Yang's team, her best team, it's her and her sister, Sui, however you say her name. That's why they do this whole swap system, because you're essentially forced to pull for multiple units to have a solid team comp. That's why they do it. If the swap system wasn't a thing, let's be real, bro. Ain't nobody finna pull for a bunch of characters if there is no swap system. That's why like they put that in the game. It's like, okay, we're gonna put in a bunch of characters. So once we put in all these characters, we want you guys to build a team comp. And once you build a team comp, then you can put these characters that you pulled for in that team comp, and you can make the character that you like the most. For example, if I like Mavwika, right? Oh, if you like Mavwika, if you want to make her stronger, then pull for Silily. And once you pull for Silily, you can swap between both characters. That's why they do this swap system. It's like the most predatory gameplay when you really do think about it. It's the most predatory gameplay, and it pretty much gives them more money. It strengthens their whole like it really just strengthens their gacha system, the swap system.
fatigue. But haven't you noticed that when you play a similar game with similar chores, you get bored faster, and it isn't really your fault? When Genshin released, players could spend hours doing menial tasks simply because it felt so new and fresh, and they loved the style. Like,
So both, I feel like both could be true. You are experiencing open world gacha fatigue, but it's also a fundamental flaw on the developers of giving you the exact same game inside of a gacha infrastructure, which already waters down so much replay value. Right? Like I said, when you take in all those variables I listed earlier, where all of the exploration motivation is just taken out because it exists inside of the gacha system for them to maximize a profit, then you put in gacha systems like dailies and weeklies, which aren't really engaging and compelling. It just feels like a chore or a job to do every single day. All of this stuff overlaps and compounds to the point where you just start to feel like you're not even really playing a game. Like that one video I reacted to where I said quitting all gacha games, the reaction of quitting all gacha games. It's like, oh, you're not playing the game, you're maintaining an account, right? You're not exploring, you're just picking up mints and 5% of a pool currency and in hopes that you have enough to acquire the next character. You're just character.
I said this earlier. You guys didn't watch my short. You a grown ass man. Imagine you had a long day at work. Grown ass man coming back from work. You go home, and the first thing you do is turn on your PC and do dailies. Brother, what? Hell no, bro. And that's the crazy part. It's like when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, that's just what you're doing. You're just managing an account. That's all you're doing at the end of the day. And FOMO plays a huge role when it comes to open world burnout, the feeling of missing out. Because when you guys think about it, the main reason why we constantly log into these games, we constantly do dailies, is because, oh, if I don't do my dailies, then I'm not gonna have enough pulls to reach guaranteed for this character, right? You look at that Sheen that's coming in Wuthering Waves. Everybody's doing their dailies because they want to get that character, bro. FOMO, the feeling of missing out, the feeling of missing out these time limited events. If you don't log into the game and do these events, well, you're missing out on some primos, astrites. You're missing out on a lot of pools. It's like they implement so many FOMO elements in these games, and in a way, you are essentially forced to log into the game almost every single day in order for you to get decent amount of pools to get the characters that you want.
Collecting at that point, right? And then he brings up that Genshin Impact, people used to just spend hours upon hours collecting mint and just exploring the world in these very same flaws that exist that I just pointed out. That's because Genshin Impact was new. It wasn't a game that copied 87 games that have already been created in the gacha space. It was the first to do what it did. Now, it took a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild, but it did grab its own identity and become that one gacha game that was new and fresh to the space. Anime Shell Shaded at the time was not in mass the way it is now, where now you see Anime Shell Shaded, you're like, oh, brother, another gacha game. Back then, it was like, holy shit, wait, I've been looking.
Yeah, like when you think about it, imagine if Genshin Impact came out today. If this game came out today, do you guys really think the game would be as popular as it is right now, or as it was when it first released? And that's just a question. I'm not gonna say yes or no, but do you guys genuinely think that Genshin Impact, if the game released today with all of these open world gacha games, do you guys think the game would be successful? Y'all let me know.
For an anime shell shaded open world game to get into. So it had all the right ingredients for a groundbreaking recipe for a video game. Then, of course, there was the pandemic too.
picking mint for hours. Even inconveniences or bad quality of life didn't really matter simply because it was just a joy to play. But with every new open world gacha game, players get bored faster, an update rolls around, and rather than being placated for a week, it might only be a couple of days at most. Majority of these updates are new story quest, new area, new character to spend polls on, and a couple events with the depth of one of those games you see in a Facebook ad. Is it the
And that is the entire experience. I want to play that back one more time. That is the gacha game experience, and you have to accept that that is what you're going to be playing. And people are okay with it. In fact, I'd argue vast majority of gacha players are okay with it. I don't think they should be, but they are, right? And so you have to understand if you
Because of casual players, once again, like this is what casual players want. They don't want to like log into a game and spend spend huge amount of time in that game to progress. They just want to log in, do their dailies, spend 5 minutes farming, and then log off. That's what they want to do.
are not enjoying that experience, you either wait for the space to change or realize that that isn't really a compelling game, or you go play a real game and get that experience out of a real game and then continue playing gacha games for what they are, which is a huge argument that a lot of people in the space make. But let's play that back one more time.
couple of days at most? Majority of these updates are new story quest, new
New story quest,
area,
new area,
character to spend polls on, and a
new characters spin pulls on.
couple events with the depth of one of those games you see in a Facebook ad.
That is the gacha game experience, right? And then they take in-game from Genshin Impact, which is Spiral Abyss, a shitty slop roguelike mode, and then they drop an in-game mode again down the line that's just a sponge fest with brain dead mobs. They all do the exact same thing. And this is why I always say that the most important aspect of a gacha game is its story, because of all the things, the aforementioned things. You're not going to get these experiences outside of a gacha game, but what you can get is a compelling.
That's why you look at games like Limbus Company, right? Limbus Company is a perfect example. Never played the game before. I'm starting to make some videos about it, reacting to some of the soundtracks and whatever. Pretty good. But when you look at the gameplay for Limbus Company, it's for a lot of people, including me, it's like, I don't know about that. But because the story is so good, for a lot of people like the game. I believe that if the story is really good, then it really can carry the game if the story is like fire. But if the story is dog water in a gacha game, I don't know, man. The story is trash and you got the same copy paste gameplay. The same copy paste what was it? The same just the same copy paste replayability in that game. The game is not going to last long, bro. It's dead on arrival.
Story, which by the way makes the exploration feel fresh with each patch update. But as long as you understand what you're going to get out of that gacha game, you can have fun with it. If you try to expect things that aren't going to happen due to how a gacha game functions, that's where I think a lot of the disdain and vitriol comes from a lot of consumers that get into these gacha games.
Is it the player's fault that they grow tired of this? You farmed the same gear, dealt the same RNG, farmed the same materials, grabbed the same chests, done the same daily, spent the same stamina, lost the same 50-50s, finished the same endgame.
Honestly, I don't think it's players' faults. I think we're like it's really people just showing how flawed gacha games are. The fact that they're all just doing the same shit over and over again, they're all just copying off of each other. It's just the lack of creativity. So I wouldn't. You guys know how I am, bro. I don't like playing the whole blame the player versus blame the devs game, dude. I will always blame the devs because at the end of the day, bro, if y'all just simply make a good game that has great replay ability, right? Great gameplay. If y'all just make a good game, nobody is gonna complain. Of course, some people are still gonna complain. Like it's not guaranteed for people to not complain, but the chances of people complaining is less likely to happen because it is a good game. So yeah, I'm not gonna blame the players here because they're just pointing out a flaw. It's like, they go, all these games are the same, bro. They're all the same. They're all just copying off of each other because it's easy money, bro. And that's just what it is. It's easy money at the end of the day. Getting paid millions for doing the bare minimum.
Across maybe 2 to 3 of these games. Rather than the player being burned out or open world games being fatigued, it's the games lacking ingenuity and copying the exact same framework.
Exactly.
I completely agree, but it is also the player's fault because the player, I guess he's still kind of doing it. He's doing it in a more tactful way. But the consumer is in the same vein enabling these things. I guess that's why we're doing these videos. Though, right?
Oh yeah, yo, okay. I was like, how is it the player's fault? But yeah, I forgot. People who spend money on these games like religiously, like me, I ain't gonna be a hypocrite here, right? I did spend money on Wooba like a few days ago because I wanted to get Sweet Sweet. I still didn't get her. But yeah, it's also our fault as well because we do spend money on these games. and we're pretty much like telling the devs, like when you spend money on these games, you're literally telling the devs, hey, bro, keep doing what you're doing, bro. Because at the end of the day, I'm still gonna give you money regardless. So yeah, it is our fault as well because we do give them money at the end of the day. So yeah.
This react here, this video that Genizat made, and then my reaction is to try and spread awareness to why you should be discontent with these things, to advocate for a better consumer experience with these gacha games as opposed to the one you're consuming right now. Not that the one right now is just a bad experience, but that it could be so much better.
Issue isn't exactly that open worlds are overdone, it's that games all keep having the same gameplay loop. A small amount of insight into this development can paint a picture. Without stating which game and who gave this information, one of the games listed above that hasn't released is currently in a constant feud between developers and management. The developers want to incorporate unique ideas such as different combat styles and endgame mechanics and make the game stand out more amongst the competition, but every time they attempt to bring new
Fucking PNG is killing me.
ideas to the table, the management responds with, that isn't what Genshin does. And no, this isn't a joke or an exaggeration.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that he's bringing it up in the video. He told me about this off camera. Obviously, I'm not going to disclose who and what, but yeah, no, this is actually, oh man, I forgot about this. This is a whole nother topic, but this is the sad reality of the behind the scenes ordeal. A lot of these corporate morons are literally just saying, do what Genshin does. That made the most money. And they're just completely ignoring all of the ideas, the innovation, the creativity that some of these developers.
You look at NTE 1.2 and you wonder why a lot of people were excited for NTE 1.2 event because it was different. It's different. They did something that no other gacha game has ever done when it comes to like a filler patch or like, you know, just a new update in general. I'm talking about like the top gacha games.
Developers have and would like to implement in their games because they would rather try and maximize a profit because Genshin did it. I know.
The very thing that inspired the game in the first place is chaining it to the ground. Ideas are quashed due to there not already being a precedent in the current market. It definitely puts some things into perspective because who knows how many potential games will refuse to innovate. There's only so many people in the pool of gacha players, and it's hard to increase this pool, so every game is competing for a similar audience.
And I said this in a video. There is so many people. It's like it's becoming a cannibalization with the rap.
Yo, Genizat's video is 10 minutes long, brother. I'm like 46 minutes. Like this video is 46 minutes right now for me. Gotcha Smack's video is like 21 minutes, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. We some yappers, bro. That's how y'all know. That's how y'all know I'm a content creator. Like I'm a true content creator. Like only a true content creator can react to a 10-minute video and turn their own video into a fucking 50-minute video, bro.
All these different gacha games.
That's crazy.
To the point where, and if you're wondering, like, why are you saying there's not that many people? Well, it's because the gacha space has such a terrible fucking bad rap. Rightfully so, because of just how much garbage exists inside of
the reason why the gacha community, let me go ahead and list you guys the reason why the gacha community has such a bad rap. Number one, listen, at the end of the day, bro, we're all playing gambling simulators, bro. Like literally. This is Loserville. It's so cringe when people try to act cool in the gacha community, brother. This is Loserville, bro. We're all playing gambling simulators. Like, there's nothing cool about that. So you got that. Two, you got a bunch of corporate white knight shills that constantly defend and glaze these companies, which is just completely embarrassing. And you got some people who would spend like hundreds and thousands of dollars on these games, which is crazy. Like, you guys remember that Farina incident where like this guy, he literally like threw his relationship down the trash. Like he literally threw his relationship away for Farina, bro. That's why the gacha community has such a bad rep, because it's filled with a bunch of weirdos, and we're all just playing gambling simulators at the end of the day, bro. Huh?
the space purely just to make more money, and they already make too much money. I say that all the time. All you have to do is just look at how much money every other game makes that's not a gacha game, and then look at how much they're making per month, and they hide their fucking money that they make because a lot of them are based in China, and so they don't have to report to the United States government. But like a lot of it is PC and console revenue that is never disclosed to the public.
There must be a breaking point where a high-production open-world 3D anime game releases, and it just simply flops because there's a limited pool of players. Which will be the first to end of service? Is it one already released, or one that isn't even announced yet? Well, the answer's simple. It's already dead. What? Yeah, the first open-world 3D gacha died, and probably barely anyone even knows. It's a game called Rimamento White Shadow.
Oh, yeah, this game did die. To be
Wait.
fair, like, a lot of gacha games die.
Rimamento White Shadow. Wait, did I make a video about this game? That name sounds familiar. I think I did make a video about this game. Damn, I don't know.
style open world mixed with a Honkai Star Rail style combat system.
Oh, I remember this game. Oh yeah, this game was dead, bro. This game was dead. This game was so dead, bro. This game did not stand a chance, bro. That shit was literally HSR, bro.
But with PvP. The game was seriously underbaked and didn't even last a year before closing, which is a shame because it actually had some promise. But the craziest part is that the game is actually attempting to relaunch, but who knows when that's happening. Now, something that I want to note is that out of all 16 of these games, all except
Put the fries in the
2
bag,
of these
man.
are from China. Other 2 being from Korea and 0 from Japan. In an article,
And that's my point exactly, right? The Chinese market for gacha games is booming to the point where it's killing Japanese market. Rightfully so. Japanese market had the most atrocious gacha systems known to mankind. But the other problem with that is what I told y'all. There's a lot of these gacha companies are making so much money and you don't know it because they're based in China. You don't know how much money they're actually making.
interviewing Shuhei Yoshida from PlayStation, he said, one reason why games in China are so strong is because they are made in an environment which allows for hiring a large number of personnel who can work long hours.
Yep. I talked about this.
Seeing like Japan didn't invent a word for death related to overwork.
No, nobody outworks.
Yeah, that too. Like you got a lot of people like they work really like they work a lot. So when they want to kill time, you know, if they're into gaming, gotcha games is their go-to. Because once again, you just log in, do your dailies, do like a 5-minute grind session, and you're done. You progress for the day, right? So
the Japanese, especially in the anime industry. But the thing is, there's so much more manpower in China, and they're getting work to the bone as well.
Japan invented the playbook for overworking employees. Have you ever met a Studio Mappa employee? Neither of their families.
yeah, Mappa, that shit, dude. Mappa, they don't give a fuck about their employees. They don't give a fuck about the animators, bro. Them niggas, I feel bad for them, man. I feel bad.
Bro, the funniest thing about that shit is like, I remember reading an article where they said a guy or a lot of the workers in the animation studio bring a bed to work so that they could sleep on it next to their office because they won't go home.
That's
and the
fucking
sleep
crazy.
Won't be like more than a nap. They'll take a nap on a bed right next to their office chair, office cubicle, and then wake up and get back to work. They won't see their family for days and sometimes weeks. Yeah, bro. You talking about locked in?
But the point remains
that's
that
crazy.
China's
fucking the way picture, bro. Oh, it's so good.
far outpacing other regions when it comes to these games. A friend of mine who works closely with Korean gacha companies has told me that many companies have realized they just can't even attempt to enter this market, and it's better to just work on non-gacha games. Supposedly, some Korean companies
I love that meme. Walai.
were even scared of Neverness to Everness's release, as its scale felt so enormous compared to what they could produce. There are currently 2 Korean gacha games, 7 Deadly Sins Origin and Dragon Sword Awakening. 7 Deadly Sins hasn't really made too many waves overall, and
Man, that shit was booty.
That game is ass cheeks, bro. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was coping with this game because I like 7 Deadly Sins, but this shit was fucking dog shit. Like, when they first announced this game, it looks so different. Like the game that you guys are seeing right now, 7 Deadly Sins Origins. When they first revealed the game did not look like this. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's false advertisement. And if you guys think I'm lying, go watch like the teaser trailer for 7 Deadly Sins Origins, bro. That shit was not like that was a completely different game, bro. Completely different game. It's like those mobile game ads you see on YouTube where like they show you like fake gameplay, but when you actually download the game, it's not what you saw on YouTube. It's completely different. That's exactly what they did with Origins, which is false advertisement.
a fairly modest launch compared to most currently out, mostly carried by its IP.
Dog shit game.
Yeah.
Deadly Sins.
No, carried by just Escanor. That's probably why he put the picture on the screen. That's correct. It's carried by Escanor.
As for Dragon Sword Awakening,
That's one of the reasons why I played that fucking game. I played the game for Escanor, but believe it or not, I didn't get him, and I was like, yeah, fuck this game. I just deleted it.
it's supposed to be a spiritual successor to Dragon Nest, however they worked with a publisher named Webzen. Webzen has a bad reputation, but did something that no one expected. They completely screwed over the developers of the game by withholding $2.2 million they owed to them, to eventually lead to a hostile takeover. In retaliation, the developers decided to give infinite free currency to players because they couldn't make money anyways, and they also reached out to Korean YouTubers to cover the subject and put Webzen on blast.
And now, speed up to today, and Dragon Sword Awakening has fully launched separate from those fucking scumbags, Webzen. Get fucked. And the game is a standalone with the publisher. And I'm sorry, not the publisher.
This thumbnail's hilarious, bro. Whoever made this thumbnail is a genius. This shit funny as fuck.
The developer, and it's doing quite well. It's already made, I think it's close to making like $10 million, somewhere around there. I think it was like 4.4 million.
Yo,
like
I might try the game out, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I've heard nothing but positive things about that damn game. I might try it out.
climbing. It'll definitely reach $10 million. Now, the question is, how much did it cost them to make the game? Oof, they're trying to recoup as much as they can, but I think it's worth putting it on, putting them on awareness so that they can recoup as much money back, especially since they got rid of the gacha. It's a $30 purchase for a 2026 open world video game. That's amazing. Yeah, I think
$30? Oh, I thought the game was for free, so it's not for free. Very interesting. You see, that's the thing too. It's like when you have anime like games that aren't for free and like you have to spend money, it's like you can actually like the chances of that game actually being good is far more likely to like happen because you have to spend money to actually get the game. Like, ain't nobody finna just like spend $30, mindlessly spend $30 on a game like Dragon Sword. Like, if they don't even know what the game is, they ain't finna just spend $30 on that shit. But if the game is good, they are gonna buy it. You look at games like GTA 6, right? Now, of course, this thing called nostalgia, right? People buy these games because of nostalgia. You look at God of War. Oh, because this is part of the God of War franchise, then I'm gonna buy the game no matter what. So nostalgia plays a huge role when it comes to people buying games. But hey, if people are actually spending $30 on Dragon Sword Awakening, then I ain't gonna lie, man. That's a good thing. That means that the game is solid.
more
Huh?
people should play it. More people should support it. I'm thinking about buying it myself and giving it a first impressions non-sponsored review.
Well, now the game is releasing globally without gacha. Yeah, the game's actually a normally priced $30 game now when it releases. Since they now have to self-publish and all the drama occurred, it's become a normal game. So now there's only really a single 3D open world gacha game from outside of China. It is a bit comical that the country to literally invent gacha has fallen behind China in terms of quality and scale of the medium. Hell, China's even starting to ramp up their own anime industry, and who knows where that'll be in a few years.
Bro, to be Hero X fucking godly.
Fucking
Now let's
mosquito,
finally just
man.
talk about what some of these games are that are releasing and what I think of them. Azure Familia is basically Pal World gacha game made by Azure Lane devs. From my own experience, gameplay's fun and fluid with cool combat and building a town. Easy must play.
It's a must play, but gonna offer the same exact issues where you're not gonna be able to have a real open world compelling experience. And that's the problem with every single open world gacha game. Until they actually start giving you a real compelling open world experience based off of all these things that I have pointed out myself, right? Not being afraid to add in-game gear as you explore. No hidden abilities. I mean,
If an open world gacha game can make me want like okay, if an open world gacha game makes people want to explore, right? Because the exploration is good, then I'm sold. And the reason why I say that is because why do people explore in these open world gacha games? Do they explore because it's fun? Do they explore because oh they want to see what's going on? They want to fight some enemies, fight some bosses or whatever? No, the reason why they explore is because they want to open some chests. They want to open chests. They want to get more primos. They want to get more astrites so that they can pull their favorite character. And that right there is the reason why when it comes to these open world gacha games, people are just getting burnt out because it's not we're exploring because we actually enjoy it. It's no, we're exploring because we have to. If we want to get more pulls before this character's banner is over, right? We gotta go explore. We gotta go open some chests. We gotta go do some side quests. We gotta do all these things. It feels like a chore. Once it stops feeling like a chore and you genuinely like it's actually fun for a lot of people, then we can have a conversation. But as of to right now, it's just slop, bro. It's literally just slop.
and giving hidden abilities and stuff via exploration, secret bosses, dungeons to conquer and explore, cosmetics to unlock. Open world is actually a threat. The enemies inside of the world are a real threat. You will get clapped. No, alternate story pathing. Oh man, that would be so nice. But the problem with alternate story pathing inside of gacha games is they're never ending. They're always going to be updating MSQ. And so to ask for alternate story pathing in a never ending story is unreasonable. It really is fucking insane to demand that on a never ending story. But alternate pathing would give people a reason to start over and play again. No RNG rare spawns like rainbow enemies, because once again, that's a gacha system clash. They're not gonna give you rare loot. These developers and publishers are ensuring that every resource you get is meticulously budgeted to ensure that you land into a situation where you go, ooh, I am missing just enough to get that character. I'm gonna spend some money, or ooh, I can get the character, but I won't be able to get the weapon. They literally calculate every resource you get in the game.
And that's why they make exploration tedious. Like when you look at Genshin's exploration, it is tedious in a way, like the climbing, the stamina, and all of that. You guys remember like when the game first came out, and dude, if you didn't have Venti, brother, you were cooked because Venti, his skill allows him to like fly up in a way. It allows him to fly up, and that was it came in clutch. That skill came in clutch. But if you didn't have Venti, brother, The amount of times people were falling off cliffs, they were falling while they were climbing because of no stamina, it was insane, right? They make exploration tedious so that you're like, oh man, I don't feel like exploring, bro. Let me just drop some money. There's like a lot. This is like people genuinely think that these companies, bro. They genuinely think that these companies, they really think that these companies, all these tactics, like all these things that they're doing, it's not present, that they're not doing it. They really think that these companies really give a fuck about these games. They don't give a fuck about the game, bro. They want the money. That's all they're here for. The money, bro. They have a whole department for this. How can we manipulate our players into spending money on the game? Let's not add a skip button, right? Let's not add a skip button. Let's make players go through the story, like go through the story slowly. Where they have to constantly tap, so they can have more play time, so that we can impress our investors. There's a whole department for this, bro. When it comes to manipulation, and then manipulating their players. And when I said manipulate, like when I said the whole like skip button and then making money, no, I wasn't tying those two together. But I'm just saying like the manipulation, what they do. If they want more playtime hours, don't add a skip button. If they want you to put your gear through your characters one by one by one by one, they're gonna make you do that. Are they gonna add an artifact loadout? No, because it's gonna make the process faster, but they're not gonna do that. They want you to spend as much time on the game as much as possible. Keep teleporting back to Catherine to claim all your rewards versus you just claiming it in like the your daily commissions menu tab or whatever. All these things that they do, bro. There's a reason why they do it, guys. There's a reason why.
And so that's why there's no RNG of like rare loot spawns and stuff like that. So yeah, but like a lot of these problems, if they fix at least just like 2 or 3 of them, the open world experience becomes a lot more enjoyable.
And this video is 1 hour.
Cadence
Our
is a
video is
fantasy
1
game with a
hour,
visual
bro.
novel timeline
Holy
system
shit, dude.
and routes you can take, NPCs that can use AI to communicate and respond, and every character has a stand they fight with.
Bro, what the hell,
Now,
dude?
see, that is the next step that a lot of these virtue signalers are not ready to accept. The key alternate story pathing, boring. So a lot of these gacha games, boring as worthless NPCs you never talk to because there's no real reason to talk to them. That can be fixed with AI. AI that is always going to give you different answers that actually responds like it goes in tandem with that video I made about Hoyoverse trying to create a game with a self-evolving AI civilization. Self-evolving AI civilization NPCs that actually think for themselves and answer things differently, that would create an insane amount of replay value. And I do see that happening because that's the only way to solve these lifeless, beautiful, empty worlds and to make them more compelling, to make people want to talk to NPCs and have a reason to talk to those NPCs. It would be a lot more interesting. He's saying that this rewinding cadence game, I didn't even know that. That's kind of crazy.
Lots of promise, hopefully turns out well.
Yeah, we'll see. That's also a game that's like similar to Wu-Wa's combat.
Honkai Nexus Anima. Honestly, I was super underwhelmed. The game's first alpha felt like the game had no
When it comes to Honkai Nexus Anima, listen, I'm not gonna shit on the game because hey, it's clear that this game is for, you know, it's for a specific group of people, right? It's clear that they're trying to cater to like they have a target audience for this game, which is Pokemon enjoyers. So I ain't gonna shit on the game, but the game is just not for me. But I will say though, at least they're doing something different where you're not swapping between characters, like you're doing the same bullshit over and over again. At least they're doing something different, but the game is just not for me. And I heard that this game actually has gacha in it, which is crazy.
direction and needs serious overhaul. It totally has time to change, but the initial impression felt lacking with its gameplay not seeming very interesting.
That shit looks mid as fuck. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I
wouldn't
don't really
mind
care,
giving it
bro.
a try, but it looks incredibly mid. And on top of that, the team behind the game was trying to be cheap on sponsors for the fucking beta. They're trying to get me to play their beta for free. I was like, bro, I'm not playing this budget ass Pokemon game for free. Ain't no shot, little bro. Hoyoverse, on top of that, the company that's willing to spend $15 billion on self-evolving AI, and if it fails, who cares? Nah, little bro, I'm good.
Unending Dawn. Not really sure where this game's been, but it's basically an anime Souls-like, which could have some promise, but it's possible they decide not to go the gacha route in the end and make it a full-fledged game.
Which would truly be unfortunate, because that would be a game that actually isn't doing the 3-man swap system, actually giving you
And this is what I talked about in my short, bro. Like a lot of these companies, bro, they got to do something different, man. It shouldn't just be open world slop, swapping back and forth with multiple characters. Do something different, bro. Do something different. Make a gacha game where PvP is the center focus, but it's not pay to win. Because when you look at a lot of these gacha games, whenever PvP is involved, that shit's pay to win as fuck. Pay to win, right? But imagine if there was a gacha game where it's PvP, but it's not pay to win. I'll see what I'm saying. Instead, like you buy cosmetics, similar to like Overwatch, where it's PvP, right? It's PvP, games for free, and it's not pay to win. You just have to have skill and you're good. Have skill and have a good team. Do something, just do something different, bro. Stop copying off of each other. Stop copying off of the same fucking format, the same formula. Just do something different.
Unique combat experience. But then they go, oh, fuck it, let's just not do gacha. It's like, bro. I mean, to be fair, that's cool too, though, right? Like, obviously, if it's not going to be a gacha game, be a standalone game, that's even better. But I've been in this space long enough to where I envision a world where gacha games' reputations improve because they're actually making good gacha games that are offering a gaming experience that isn't just, we're trying to make as much money as possible, which you pull it on characters.
Seems like it would take actual skill,
Cosmetics
and
is
that
the
cuts
key.
out 99% of potential gacha players. Lots of enemies taken from Elden Ring, but most footage is old and a lot can change. Silver Palace. Game has a ton of potential, and its narrative is immediately interesting in a steampunk magic England as a detective. Needs a lot of polish, but its early gameplay felt good.
This was before the beta, by the way. It's already improved a lot, but what I will say is Silver Palace is only going to be good for its story, as I've experienced. I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, people are gonna get tired of the gameplay, bro. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and glaze something I never played before. Bro, this whole trend where people glaze a game before releasing, I will never understand. If you don't want to like shit on a game before releases, cool. But glazing something before it releases, that's not gonna fix anything. That's not gonna make the devs actually want to change the game. And plus, the game isn't like beta test. And the whole point of beta is for people to give the devs feedback on what's going on in the game. So like, let's be real, bro. Silver Palace is gonna be the same shit again with WoWa and Genshin, where people are solely playing the game for the story. And when it comes to the gameplay, the in-game content, it's just the same shit over and over and over and over again, bro. The same damn cycle. Log in, do dailies, log off, and whatever. And hey, if I'm wrong, good. Right? If I'm wrong, good. But I said the same shit like 10 times where I'm like, okay, if this game does this and that in the third, people are going to get sick and tired of it. But if I'm wrong, oh well. And guess what? Everything I said is exactly what happened. So it's like, bro.
The story is going to be an amazing experience, I think, for a lot of people, and they'll stick with the game purely for that. But outside of the story, it seems to be doing all the things that everybody else is doing that has already been done before. The combat system, the open world exploration, all of it looks fucking mid. But if you like the theme, or not mid, it looks like the same repetitive, tedious things you've experienced in pre-existing gacha games. But if you like that,
The only thing that's different when it comes to these gacha games is the theme, right? It's the theme. It's like a Victorian style type game. You look at NTE, it's a GTA like game. Right? It's just the theme that's different. But other than that, the gameplay, the mechanics, all that are all the same.
theme, I think you'll end up enjoying it.
Wang Yue, recent trailer made it look incredible, but it's hard to create a city that feels meaningful and not large areas with no purpose. Had a lot of creativity from Breath of the Wild building and combining the world's Pokemon. Hopefully it turns out well. Arsapura. Weaverse had this come out of nowhere and the game looks incredible overall with a unique graphic style. Only issue
Game looks good, bro, but I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm not feeling Verspura. I'm not feeling the game.
is the combat is the exact same as like 5 different open world gachas, so hopefully it'll innovate on that. That's also an issue that Silver Palace has. Project 2/3 is probably a tentative name, but the game seemed interesting in a city of clouds and being able to manipulate gravity to navigate around. Felt themed similar to Bioshock Infinite. Guess what? You probably swap between characters to fight. Dragon Sword Awakening, technically it's changing from being a gacha, but launched in Korea initially as one. Actually has some unique combo-based combat and feels
This is outdated. It did change, but I mean, like he made this video before it released.
nice to play with no stamina system, and multiplayer dungeons is awesome. Ananta. I
Already out. No
know
gacha.
it isn't a gacha, but everyone treats it as being similar. I tried it at Tokyo Game Show, and while being impressive, I was unsure the direction the game wanted other than anime GTA, but it was really high quality. But that about wraps up my thoughts on these upcoming 3D open world games, and also on the topic of open world gacha fatigue. Hope you enjoyed
Yeah, that was a great video by my brother Genizat. I'll be sure to link it down below. To wrap up my own personal thoughts, like I said, I think what needs to happen with these open world gacha games is they need to stop thinking, oh, that'll make us make less money on the gacha system. We can't put that in the game. And start making if you're going to do an open world, make the world worth exploring. Right now, the only real reason to explore an open world gacha games is music and ambiance, vibes, traversing the map, which they get creative with all their gacha characters and vehicles and so on and so forth. But like traversing the map, if that's the only real reason to explore with music and ambiance, dear God, bro, you might as well just You guys will just make like a racing game or something. I don't know, you know, but like lore enjoyers, which I think that's completely fine and respectable. If you're a lore enjoyer, then you got a reason to explore because they do have a lot of lore and like different little weapons and items across the map and such. But most people don't have the knack to explore for lore. They usually just watch a lore video on YouTube. Other than that, you know, it's copy and pasta with the current Genshin Impact swap system, elemental system, the break system, and all that. Same thing put in all these other games with brain dead mobs. Same exact in game, like I said, Spiral Abyss, roguelike slop, and new Sponge Fest mode that gets added like a year
I think Silver Palace also has a roguelike mode. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. Here we go again with this shit, bro.
later down the line. A lot of these problems might always exist in gacha games. They do. They might always exist in gacha games. And if they do, then me personally, I think you should only play them for the story. And if you don't enjoy the story, you probably should just uninstall. Other than that, though, I think we
Okay, yeah, that's it for the video. So, yeah, bro. Insane reaction, guys. We got like 1 hour? Oh Lord. But yeah, I agree on a lot of things both of them said when it comes to open world burnout. It's really just copy and paste, copy and paste. It's just the same thing over and over again. And it really just comes down to if you aren't interested in the story, GG's. Literally, GG's, bro, because chances of you enjoying the gameplay, chances of you enjoying the in-game content, it's just you know, it's just one of the only reasons why I play Woowa is because the character designs. I like the character designs. I like the gameplay, right? When it comes to the animations, I like them a lot. When it comes to the story, I'm not a fan of the story. I'm really not. I'm not a fan of the story at all. 3.5 story was all right, but overall, I'm just not a fan of Woowa's story. So it's like that's one of the main issues with open world games. They're open world, but when it comes to exploring, it's like you're not really enjoying the exploration. You're just exploring because you want to pull for the characters. It's like a chore. You log in, do your dailies, log off, and that's it. It's like you're not really it's not really it doesn't feel like an open world game. You think about it, and that's the issue. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think these gacha games, they're all just repetitive? They're all just copying off of each other? Do you guys think they should do something different? They should be creative. They should use their fucking brains and, you know, be innovative and do something that no other company has ever done. Let me know what y'all think. But hope you guys have a good one. Let me catch you guys on the next one. Adios.